Hey, how you going, guys? So today we're back at working on the old man's XT550. So you'd ask, why is the bash plate undone? Well, as you saw in the service, as you saw in the short that I made on the YouTube, I did a service on it. So new air filter, new oil in it. So I put new oil in it, bled it all, rode it for 15 minutes, and now it's pretty much out of oil. Most of the time it's burning oil or it's leaking it. And when it gets warm, the clutch starts slipping. So I'm guessing the clutch is slipping because, you know, the clutch plates haven't been freed up in 16 years since the last time I got it running. So what I'm going to do, have a look at the clutch plates and the shims in between the clutch plates, just see how they are, and we might give them a quick concrete rub, see how they are. But also behind this front sprocket here, there's a seal, and that's the cause of the leak. So we see if we can fix this today so I can take it for a good ride tomorrow and get it really warmed up. So I've already got my Allen key here, as you can see, just sitting here. What we might do is just crack all these bolt cases, take this casing off, and then we'll inspect what's inside. So I've got the bike leaning on its side at the moment so we can have a look. And also might have to get a clamp so I can clamp these forks up. As you can see, the dust covers, they come down and then they don't come back up. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be probably a plastic clip there. But anyway, let's get into it, eh? So as you saw, just going around undoing all the Allen key bolts. Just going around everywhere. If you don't mind, I've got the fan going, the pedestal fan, because I don't got a closed in shop, as you know, and a tin roof. So here in Australia, it gets really bloody hot. And I mean, it's real bloody hot, and it gets humid too when it's been raining. And it's been raining heaps, actually. But I just wanted to say, for the last video, for the 22k views on the last video, that was amazing. And for the subscribers that subscribed and liked the video, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I'm nearly at 1,000. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, which, remember, doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. All it does is benefit you, because you'll be able to see when my videos come up. You'll be able to watch more of my videos, and it will benefit me because I'll be able to make better content with better cameras, and I'll be able to make more content. So if you can, please like and subscribe. And I know you have been. And to all the Americans, thank you very much. In Australia, it gets really hot out here. Quickly just drop this skid plate because it's annoying me. What? Alright, put that back on. I just wanted to have a look. I just wanted to see what it looked like in the magneto side, and it looks all pretty good, eh? Just the only thing here, the earth here must come undone. So I'm just gonna attach that. It hasn't affected the bike and running wise, but I'm just gonna put that back on. But I'm gonna take the front sprocket off because I reckon the leak's coming from the back of the seal around the front sprocket. But it might be coming from the shift shaft, seal round here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this off, fill it up with oil, and I'm gonna have a look. Alright, so as you can see, I've cleaned around this seal here. I'm hoping if it does leak from this shaft, I can just tighten these bolts up, and which I haven't checked if they're completely tight or not, but I'm just going to let it leak wherever it's going to leak. There's no play in the shafts at all, so it's not like the seal's flogged out. So anyway, we're gonna fill this up with oil. I'm gonna start it up. It's a bit of a hard thing to start because it hasn't started in about probably a good month since I've made the YouTube video. So I'll start it up, and then we'll get back to you and see where it's leaking from. Hopefully I can just tighten these two 10 mils up if it's leaking from there, and it'll stop leaking, but we'll see. And then after that, we fix the leak, hopefully. We put the sprocket back on, and then we go to the clutch cover side and have a look at the clutch plates and the shims. So I'll go do that and I'll get back to you. So I don't know if you can see that, but a small little leak. So what I'm gonna do, tighten this up, wipe that, and see if it leaks again. So I've had it running. I've had a bit of muck up with oil. So can you guys tell me, right? So this was sitting on E, like nothing. There was nothing in that dry sump tank. And I always thought the oil sits in the dry sump, and then when you go to start it, it goes and it circulates in between, right? Well, I started that. Well, I didn't start it. I filled it all the way up, and I didn't want to use all my good stuff, so I put some of my old oil in because it looked like it needed to take a fair bit. It took this much, and there was still nothing on it. Nothing on the dipstick. So I thought, all right, well, I'll start it up for a quick second, see if there's anything. I started it up, cracked the dipstick straight away, had a look, and it was over full, and it started pissing out. So tell me, is it when they sit, do they go back into the motor? Like, what I'm trying to say is that a usual thing for them to still have oil, but only in the motor, and it doesn't show on the dipstick? Like, if you're trying to understand what I mean, please let me know, because I'm really wondering what's going on. Like, if there's nothing on the dipstick, do you start it till you see stuff on the dipstick, or is that the right thing to do, or is there always supposed to be oil on the dipstick? Because there was nothing. And I put on, 800 mil, and there was nothing still. And then I started it, and then it started pissing out the top here. You know what I mean? And I mean pissing, like, look at all the oil. Do you know what I mean? That just went straight down. So, you know what I mean? Put a fair bit in, there was still nothing on the dipstick, but now there's heaps. So that's what I'm not understanding. But anyway, I'll tighten this up, these two 10 mils, and then I'm going to put the gear selector back on, and then I'm going to see when this rotates if any leaks out. You know the story on this. Dad used to daily it like crazy, and I mean crazy. He would go ride. He'd ride the work, finish work, and then he'd go out bush with the boys and they'd have their own little circuits. And you wouldn't believe it, with this heavy bugger, and it's pretty much a tractor, Dad kept up with the 2 strokes back in the day and all that. All them, right? And he had some big damages, like that side had a big crack in the clutch casing, and his JB welded it, and that's why they made up that big skid plate, him and his mate. Well, this is another terrifying JB weld mistake. So I was wondering where it's leaking. It's starting to leak a little bit out of here. No, that wasn't the problem. If you see, that's hot. If you see there, that's got a hairline crack all the way along. See it? In the JB weld, just from, age of sitting. And that's probably 20 plus years old, that repair. And you can see that it's held up for a while, but she doesn't want to hold up anymore. And that's our little oil leak. Nothing wrong with the sprocket seal, nor the shift seal. It's that hairline crack. So the proper way would be to take that JB weld all the way back to the crack and then put new JB weld on it, or get a whole new casing. But that's like plus grands. It's a lot of money. What I'm going to do, just to be on the dodgy side and fix the dodginess, all I'm going to do is probably a little bit of sandpaper over the handline crack there. And then put a bit of silicone. Nah, silicone doesn't like oil, does it? I might get some JB weld if Dad has any on hand, and just JB weld it, and then put the sprocket back on, and then see how I go from there. Alrighty, so I thought I'd go and do something real good and just JB weld it all back up. So what I did was I got a bit of sandpaper. I sanded a little groove in the hairline crack, well, as much as I could, and then I prepped it with wax and grease remover, and then I made up a big, thick, fair bit amount, and then I just rubbed it on with my finger while it was wet. You can really only do it for about a minute while it's wet, and then after you do that, it starts getting tacky, and you'll start ripping off the JB weld, so you've got to be pretty quick with it. So I'm going to leave that sit overnight because I'm riding tomorrow, but while I do that, I just wiped off the grease nipple, so I'll grease the swing arm bushes up real quick, and then we'll put this front sprocket back on and the chain, And we won't start it on nothing because I really want that to dry overnight. So then we'll go on to the other side and then we'll do the clutch case. We'll take the clutch case off and I'll show you that little JB weld they did over there, their crack. I pretty much should just JB weld again so I don't have any problems. But we'll get into that. We'll just quickly put all this back together and then we'll get on the other side, eh? All right, front sprocket's back on. Chain is tightened. I had to take off the chain tensioner and move the wheel forward so I can get that front sprocket back onto that shaft. So that's all done. Back to its original setting, 6.5 on each side. It was like 6.8, sorry. But yeah, so I'm not going to run it any longer after I've done that JB weld spot. So I'm leaving that. I'm going to grease up my swing arm bushings on each side for tomorrow. Might check the speedo later because I'm going out to dinner soon. And we'll have a look. Here's that JB weld I was talking about, what they did. You can see it's starting to come off the casing, but it hasn't leaked, so I'm not really fussed about that yet. But like I said before, I'm going for dinner soon, so I just did some little stuff. I didn't start on the clutch case yet. That JB weld's getting pretty hard now, but I'm still not going to run it till tomorrow morning. I've got it leaning on that side so the oil's on the clutch cover side. I know it's probably not the smartest, but I don't want anything seeping through that JB weld. Just like little stuff like this, plastics, I just put some washers because it's cracked there and it wasn't holding with the normal bolt. So just some washers so it's not on tight. You might see some grease on the chain. It's because I greased up the nipples and that. I'd take them apart, clean them all out, and you know, the excess grease had just washed on the chain. And yeah, so pretty much all I got to do now is clutch case. That's going to be a pretty big job, taking all that out, then cleaning them all up, putting them back together. The one thing besides the grip missing here, which is pissing me off, the grip's not so much, but I will grab one, is the bars isn't straight. So I'll show you. So that's a straight wheel. See how it's a bit kinked this way, like someone's fallen over and bent the bars this way. So that's like a straight wheel, and you can see it's not straight. So all I'm gonna do is either someone yank on that, try to bend it, or I might undo this and bend it. I'm not sure. I don't think it would move because this has got teeth, so it shouldn't really move in this headset here. I'll figure something out anyway. I'll think about it while I have dinner. But alrighty, I'll go have dinner and then I'll be back soon. All right, so we're back. So we're gonna take the kickstarter leg off, and then we might take the brake lever off because that's gonna be in our way when we want to take it off. And the spring here, just undo it from here. And then it looks like it's going to be a big job, so pretty much every single bolt for the casing. I don't think I have to take the oil filter out, but I have to just do every single one around it. So might just quickly loosen all of them off camera because my stand is broken, so I'm using this. I need to get a proper tripod and that, but anyway, we'll see how we go, eh? As you can see, I had to take the foot peg off, so I tried taking that brake lever off. It's easy to just take the foot peg off and then brake lever comes off with it. Heaps easier and quicker. And I took this off because I thought I could get it off with the brake lever and this and that, and nah, pretty much no. So now I know what to do next time. Just take all your outer bolts out and then just take this off, and then you're right to go instead of mucking around. Alright, so they're pretty much done all the way up tight. Alright, so as you can see, it's not too bad. Tell me guys, I don't know, whoever's taken one of these apart, is that supposed to have this much play? Don't worry about the spring, that's for the brake. But is your Kickstarter gear supposed to have that much play? Side to side. I mean, it looks like it's spring loaded anyway, so it comes back, but anyway. Alright, it's going to be a bit hard to do with one hand, but... which, I don't know, here. Let me put you down again. Yeah, cracked up. So I'm going to keep in that order there. Alright, so what you want to do is you don't want some real smooth concrete. You want some roughish concrete. Not rough that it's like fucking 40 grit, but something that's about probably 120. So, as you can see here, I've already done this one. So I'll show you my next example. So you want to keep these in order as best as you can. Right, and then you don't do the clutch plates, you do these shims, right? So, look, you can see it's got some surfaced rust marks on it and no scratch marks on it. Not going to do much compared to that one. So this is the little trick that I learnt while I got taught to do, so your clutch engages a bit better. Just circle motion. For about 10 seconds. If I can pick it up. Look at that, perfect. No good? Perfect. Perfect both sides. Then put in my rag, wipe it up, and then I'll give that a petrol wash. And then after I give it a petrol wash and I've wiped it all up, before I assemble it again, I'll put it in that oil, let it soak in the oil, put it back together, how it was in the same order, and then we'll see how it goes. But let me just do all these shims, and then we'll get back to it. Got my clutch plates cleaned up in the petrol. See how much oily and dirt came off that, which was, well, it's good I soaked them in petrol. Gave them a quick wash, but just letting the oil drip out a little bit still. Just fingering the oil away from the case here so I can wipe it up, brake clean it, wipe it up, and then get ready to put just some gasket maker over it so I know it won't leak when I put it back together. You know what I mean? Because you can throw it back on, you can see the gaskets rip from there up to there, you know. If I just throw the gasket maker on top of it, I know it will seal. Because I've used gasket maker, I guess you don't need a gasket really, but I'm not going to destroy the gasket that's on it when I can just use gasket maker on top of that. But anyway, let that soak for a little bit, I'll put all that back in. Just repeat, put all that, and then I might clean up a little bit of the frame here, all that oil. Just make it look a bit neater after I put the case back on so I don't get no dirt in it. Alrighty. Another clutch plate install. One hand's gonna be a bit hard, but we'll figure it out. Plate cover on. Let's put back together properly, and I didn't really know the spring tension, so all I've done is done them up. They do got a bit of free play in them, but I won't really know until I ride the fucking thing. So yeah, when I pull the clutch in, I spun this to see how big of a gap. So I tried to equal out the gap. It's about probably 3mm, 4mm gap in between when this actuates out and the first clutch plate. So I reckon that's pretty good. Yeah. So I'm just gonna put some gasket maker all the way around, like wipe all this up of course, but all the way around to about up here and on that, and then stick that on. And then I might wheel it and see what I reckon I should do. But and then I'll clean all that up, put all this back together, and go to bed. Because I only have like 5 hours till I get up and go for a ride. So, alrighty. So it is now 1:30. 1:30 in the morning. All put back together. I know I didn't video it just because I wanted to get it done, but she's all ready to go. Tomorrow I will have to adjust the brakes, and yeah, that's about it. Just the brakes pretty much. I was thinking about it, even if the clutch feels weird at the start, I can always adjust it up at the cable, so I still do a bit of adjustments. But anyway.